Welcome to another exciting episode of the Business of Digital podcast, featuring your hosts, Matt Siltala and Dave Rohr. Hey guys, Matt Siltala and Dave Rohr coming at you for another one of these Business of Digital podcasts. Looking forward to chatting with you today. Before we jump into it, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, the martech conference. They are going to be in San Jose April 3rd through the 5th and Boston September 16th through the 18th. So make sure and reach out to host and program chair Scott Brinker. He's got an agenda that's pretty amazing. You know, it's insights into marketing, technology, and management. Also, here at Business of Digital Podcast, we are going to give you a 15% off coupon. So if you want to go to the show, whether in San Jose or in Boston, just use the coupon code BIZPODCAST, all one word, all lowercase, BIZ podcast, and save yourself 15%. And so go get all the information you need on that at martechconference.com. It's just martechconf.com. So martechconf.com. All right. So with that said, today's episode, what we're going to talk about is marketing stacks for the win, as Dave put it. And so both of us,
the official title, but that's how I explained it to Matt. Man, what's this one about? And like, marketing stacks for the win.
And I knew that wasn't going to be the official one, but I had to throw that in there. I thought it was funny. So, but yeah, like, you know, before we started recording this episode, you guys, we were talking about how frustrating it is, and I'll let Dave jump into this and talk to it, but I cannot tell you, Dave, the amount of times that I've talked to someone and, you know, you're asking what you feel are the basic questions like, well, do you know what your site's built on? Is, you know, what platform is it? WordPress? You know, no. Do you know where it's hosted? You know, do you have any kind of analytics? Do you have any of the passwords? You just get no to every one of these things, and you're like, how on earth have you survived this long? Like, no wonder you're coming to me for help. But anyway, so I think it's a great topic and something that we should definitely dive deeper into. And so I'm going to turn the time over to you to just kind of get us started.
Yeah, it's in this day and age, you really need to know what your marketing stack is, and what that all entails is literally everything. So if you're a small to mid-sized business and you outsource all of your IT stuff, you probably don't have stuff hosted locally. And if you do, talk to your IT team and ask them, are you on Apache? Are you on Windows? You know, so many people don't even know if they're on ASP driven stuff, or if they're on a PHP, or if they're open source, or some people don't even know what that is, which really scares me. Especially if you've been working in marketing for a while, because I've worked at places where they got bought and the new owner came down and said, you can't do open source because of security issues, which you could argue completely different topic. You could argue good or bad, but they said you can't do open source. I know people that have had restrictions on the size and where that company that owned the technology for that CMS platform was based. They couldn't be based in certain countries, or it had to be of such a large size because they wanted to deal with someone that they knew would be around for so long, because they were investing lots of money and we're going to be on this platform for at least 3 to 5 years, blah, 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 blah. And once you get into larger situations like that, the restrictions, the complexities of your old internal databases, your own internal like structure. If you have a POS and you have, say, not even I personally had to deal with this much. Maybe, I don't even think you have much. Just if you have a storefront that works with your, shipping, that works with all of your other back end stuff, that also has to work with your front end. Like, do you know all of those systems? Do you know what they are and how they work together? Well, or is that only live in IT and no one has any clue?
Oh man, hopefully not. But it's something else that we were chatting about too, Dave, that you kind of touched on, in knowing all that information. Of course I'm going to bring it up. recently the Super Bowl ads, and one of them, who won the Super Bowl? Oh yeah, Patriots. Had to throw that in there, but
not the marketers.
no. Oh yeah, that's true.
Not the viewers.
That's a whole nother episode.
Viewers didn't win unless you were rooting for a specific team.
Not even the halftime show came through. Anyway. No. So, but one of the commercials was Wix. As we all know, in the search engine industry, it's not a very friendly, a search engine friendly site. So for me,
it's gotten better.
It has, but I don't know if you saw, and we can reference to it, but I think it was one of the bills. I can't remember. They broke down how even the site that they shared and kind of got into it and did a little bit of an audit, how there was so much stuff wrong with it search engine wise. Anyway,
Bill Hartzer did an article that broke that down, and Christine did a walkthrough of the actual SEO functionality, which I think is interesting the way. So both of them did articles about the good and bad of the
right, and we'll drop links to that. But but the point is not to whether it's it's a good SEO platform or a bad SEO platform or whatever. The point that Dave and I are trying to make is, if you're going to watch the Super Bowl commercials and you're going to see that, and let's say you're frustrated with your platform and you don't even know what you're using, and you want to talk to, or you want to make a switch, and you're like, hey, I'd love to be in more control, and that Wix platform looks great because it looks easy to use or whatever. Our point here, guys, in chatting with you about marketing stacks and understanding and knowing what it is and what's in it, is before you jump and make those switch, talk to technology, talk to your technology team, talk to your marketing team, do a little bit of research and figure out what is it going to take? Is it going to be an easy transition? What kind of stuff do you have access to? What kind of stuff do you not have access to? And I think that's the point here in knowing and understanding all that. So when you do hire someone, or so if something is changing, you can make those transitions a little bit easier. And that's the point with understanding these different stacks, in my opinion.
Well, and there's also and I did this, I talked about it recently in another podcast that I was a guest on. I've talked about it multiple times at different, when I did a big training at Swivel, was it almost a year and a half ago now? I did a big training, I walked through, and other times when you walk through hiring, the whole process of hiring a consultant or an agency to take over your social, take over your PPC, take over your IT, take over, building a new site or updating a site, or anything that touches your digital footprint in any way, we're going to have questions. If I'm asking questions about the SEO, I want to know what your platform is, what does it tie into, what do you have for analytics, what are we using for conversions? Do you have Hotjar? Do you have different other systems? If we're looking at site speed, I want to know, do you actually know which of these pixels are on there? Do you know you have 12 different pixels on every single page? Do you know that half of them haven't been used in 4 years?
Oh, wow. Because
the previous CMO or the previous marketing director put them up there and did a test and forgot? Do you know what your contracts look like for these different stacks? Do you know how they talk? I once ran into a problem, and I won't name the companies, but we had a back-end system that our salespeople used, and we used for lead capture, but then we also had an analytics platform, and they were supposed to talk, and that's what we were sold on. And I spent 9 months with them, hitting my head against a brick wall, trying to figure out why the two platforms wouldn't talk, until month 10, when they actually admitted that the way that they got them to talk was through a whole lot of customization, and that customization wasn't ready for prime time yet, and that we've been lied to.
Huh. Jeez.
So I lost my bonus that year. I almost got fired. And we actually did due diligence.
Jeez. That's horrible.
But I mean, think about if you build a new site and you spend $3,000 to $5,000 on whatever it is for design and moving and whatever, and maybe even more. I've been on builds that probably cost millions. And you don't realize that your email provider or your back-end system or your really old system has a way to talk to it, because the API doesn't do what you need it to do.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I've also had lots of people come to me and want to do SEO, but they're on a closed platform, and this happens a little bit too often lately, where they're on a closed platform and there's just not much you can do.
Yeah, you run into that a lot with like realtors, and they're on, and even car dealers and things like that. From what I've seen,
Yeah.
they're on platforms that are the same for everybody. You just kind of customize it to have your feel. But on the back end stuff that you're talking about, Dave, we're completely hands are tied.
And I've seen that twice now in just the last month, where I've talked to two different companies about projects, and one of them they were both on industry specific platforms where the amount of SEO we can do and the amount of SEO that they can ever do is very limited if it's not already in that system.
Yeah.
But there's also the side from PPC where if you want landing pages and you use a third-party landing page system, does it work with your system?
Yeah.
What complexities and, does anyone ever know what the roadmap looks like? I mean, not the roadmap, but the schema and the schematics for how it talks to all your systems. Do you have that written up somewhere?
Yeah.
So when that person leaves or gets promoted, that knowledge is transferred as well.
And something that makes me think about even diving into this a little bit deeper, is something that you included in some of your notes here, but I think is something that we should talk about. But things like who controls your domain, where are the passwords at? And the reason I bring that up is because I've run into this so many times when I'm talking with someone. They come to me and they're like, "Oh, we have a problem," or like the site's down all of a sudden, and I'm like, "All right, well, where is it hosted, or where's the domain or whatever?" And they're looking at me like a deer in the headlight, like I'm supposed to know these things. I'm like, yes, absolutely. And also that goes to
our previous design company set it up and they host it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is like 8 times out of 10 when that happens, that's the situation. Their previous dev or design company, or maybe both, built the site, is hosting the domain, controls the domain.
Well, and that's my exact point, Dave. I want people that are listening to this, you guys need to be the ones that always are in control of your domains. You need to have your passwords. You need to know it needs to be your email, not someone that you hired that you haven't worked with for 4 years, because trust me, that was an exact situation. Someone that hadn't worked on this site for probably about 5 years. We finally figured out that he was the one that it was his password that was hooked up to the domain. We went months trying to get a hold of him, find it, figure it out, get him motivated enough to even help us out and switch it. It's like so much pain and anguish and annoyance on our end, and a frustrated client too. And so again, before you're even setting any of this up, people, make sure, if you're talking to people about doing this, you want to be the one that controls your domains. You want to have all the passwords. You want to be the one that has the email that is hooked up to everything. Don't let it be in other people's names. Like, it needs to be yours.
And if you don't know what your system is, it makes it tougher for consultants or even new hires. Like if you were interviewing someone to start a new role, they hopefully should at least do some digging into what platform you're on. And you should also be listing out that we're on Drupal. We need someone that understands and can do basic stuff on Drupal. We're on, a proprietary system built on,
Ruby on Rails
or built
whatever.
on Rails or built on something. You don't have to understand the code, but know that, X, Y, Z. And if you don't know any of that stuff, how are you going to hire people that can help you? But also, how would you even know what to fix?
Very good. So, I think that this is fantastic. I think that, just helping people be aware of all their marketing stacks. I don't know, maybe if what we can include in the write up is a quick checklist or a quick overview of, hey, your CMS, your hosting, your emails, to look up everything, basically helping people understand what that marketing stack is. Some kind of a checklist might be nice, but
there's some quick tools, like there's builtwith.com.
Perfect.
Is a quick tool that's handy. You just go in there and type in the domain. Anytime I talk to prospects, or even when I used to interview, I would go through and I'd be like, okay, what is their site on? And I could view source, but it's always interesting to look and see.
Yeah.
And then I actually have a Chrome plugin, although I'm probably going to move to Firefox soon because I'm tired of the memory hogging that Chrome does. I got to figure out if all my plugins work there too. It's a little it's a plugin, but it's called Wapalizer, and it basically tells me all sorts of stuff. And right now I just opened up bizofdigital, and it's telling me we're in WordPress, we're on PHP, we use Cloudflare, our database is MySQL. Yep, all that's true.
And so even if you have that tool and you plug it in for your site and you hand that over to someone you're asking for help, you're going to save them so much time. They're going to love you for it.
At least a little bit of time, that's for sure.
Yeah. So we'll drop links to all those for sure, guys. So we'll have that in the write-up.
But yeah, and anytime you start looking at new technologies, if you don't know what you already have, you won't be able to ask those questions of, will this work with it? Maybe you're on an email platform and someone is suggesting, moving to a new one. If you don't know what your current stack is, how do you know if that'll work?
Yeah. Very true.
Or how easily the form captures would work for your, especially if you're moving to like a Salesforce, there's forms, or there's, HubSpot, or, whatever that CMS is. There's limitations, that good and bad, for everything.
Yeah, we recently went through this. We did a big switch in where we do a lot of stuff through Workfront. And same deal. We had to there was a lot of due diligence with different systems and platforms and making sure that everything was talking to each other. And it wasn't an easy overnight snap your finger process, So
sadly, it never is.
All right. Well, I don't know if you have any final thoughts on marketing stacks or any takeaways that you want people to have before we wrap this up.
I had one, and now it just slipped through my fingers. I forget what it is.
So, if we think about it.
So clearly, I'll remember it in like 4 minutes.
So, if he remembers it in 4 minutes, guys, you'll get the update on the on the blog.
I'll add it to the write-up.
On the write-up that says, "Hey, here's the bonus."
There'll be a hidden nugget on the write-up, so check out the write-up.
Hey, that's it was all meant to be. We want to drive traffic there as well, but. Hey guys, I just want to also give a shout out and thank to our our show sponsor for today, the martech conference. Reminder, they're going to be in San Jose on April 3rd through the 5th, and Boston September 16th through the 18th. So make sure and find program chair Scott Brinker, because he's put together a amazing agenda that gives you strategic insights into marketing, technology, and management. So also, you guys are lucky with being listeners of the podcast. You get a 15% off coupon. It's Biz Podcast, one word, all lowercase. So Biz, B-I-Z, Podcast, all one word. And so go and check out all the information that you need to know about that conference at martechconf.com. That's just martechconf.com. So you guys, thanks for checking out this episode on marketing stacks, and hopefully you guys have a little bit better of an idea of what your marketing stack will be after listening to this episode. So for Dave Rohr with Northside Metrics, I'm Matt Siltel with Avalanche Media, and we do appreciate you guys taking the time to check out this episode and listen to us. And so we'll see you guys again. Bye.
Thanks.